Sure.
He's going to be a dictator. He's an autocrat. He's authoritarian, so on and so forth. Now, that said, when I point out we did 4 years and that didn't happen, I get January 6th. Now, we'll table that. We talked about that. My question becomes, isn't that exactly what I'm seeing on the left? How are they
Yes.
determining who the arbiter of this truth is? So I have so many questions. I'm trying to organize which one I want to ask in which order. I guess my first question is that you've got misinformation, which someone's made a mistake, but we want to arguably criminalize that, according to Hillary Clinton. You've got disinformation. I deliberately misled you. And then you've got hate speech, which I presume they're claiming incites violence. All of the misinformation or even, quote, disinformation during COVID that they wanted to silence turned out to be the truth. Masks don't work. The vaccine is really a shot, not a vaccine. It's not super effective, and only a certain percentage of the population really should even consider getting it. Those are who are at great risk. Like all of these things that they went after people for turned out to be true.
Well, look, that's also why, generally speaking, you should want what the founders of America wanted, which was a limited government. Because when Hillary Clinton says we have to censor misinformation, well, you just laid out a whole bunch of misinformation that these guys have
Right.
promulgated. Again, very fine people, all of the COVID stuff, like Russia hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop.
The
And we
Steele
saw it,
dossier that she was behind. I loved Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to lie. There's probably an article quote out there from me in 2016 saying I wished I had trained her for her presidential run. I worked with the Clintons, Dave, and they were always lovely to me. Chelsea Clinton was on my television show in 2015. Personally,
well, I think I think what's happening. So look, I voted for Barack Obama twice. And I'm
same.
trying to remember what was Bill Clinton's. Could I vote in '96? I guess no. I supported him, as a young adult, but I don't think I could vote if I remember correctly, if I'm getting the years right. But the point is, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, while I have all sorts of issues with them now, the reason that Hillary now seems, let's say, hysterical to you, where you
Yes.
supported her like 10 or 15 years ago,
She
is because
seems scary.
she let the enemy in. What you have to give the credit to the progressives, and I would say whatever you want to call them, the Marxists or the communists or the jihadists. I don't even know what you want to call them because it's a whole crazy group of people. But you have to give them credit. You have to give the devil his due. There is a reason they were able to, in essence, take over the Democrat Party and not the Republican Party. They took over the Democrat Party because of the soft underbelly of tolerance that liberals put at like the height of the hierarchy of importance. You should be tolerant. Everyone should be tolerant. You should be tolerant of people who think differently and act differently and have different cultural traditions or norms or anything else, but you don't want to be tolerant of intolerance. But the progressives really saw this. They saw, how could we take over a political party? We'll pretend we're nice and we care about everybody and we're empathetic and all of these things. But then once we get in, we will unmask ourselves. And they have clearly unmasked ourselves. So someone like Hillary Clinton, she's been a Democrat for so long and is so associated with the Democrat Party that she just sort of can't accept the reality. So she basically strikes me as someone that it's like, she's just lashing out in any way to maintain some level of relevance or control in the system, right? She should, if Hillary Clinton really cared about America or really was a true liberal, more in line with the way her husband governed as president, she should be doing what RFK did. Right. But now they have an aversion to Trump that stops them from doing that. But by the way, had it been DeSantis, who I supported in the primary, who I think is the most competent politician in America, and just look at the last couple of days of what he's done here in Florida as it relates to the hurricane, it's like they would have done the same thing to him too. They would have said he's worse than Hitler because he's basically Trump with a calculator. He's too effective.
Don't say
so he's
gay,
even worse.
Book burner. I've heard it all.
All made up nonsense. Here, I'm in Florida. I said gay. I might do something gay later. Nobody's coming for me. So that's really the problem. The left has just, unfortunately, now been led by its worst instincts And that's why everything feels so out of control right now. That's not to say everything on the right is
Keeping it real with Jillian Michaels.